Right, friends, let's continue with the same problem, the same case study. In the last video, we have seen only the first part of the question, not even first part. In A, the first part, right? So we have calculated the cost gap that exists between total cost per toy as per existing production plan and as well as target cost. So in fact, that we have calculated over here. So, yep, here it is. So we got the answer as how much? 4.09. Let me change the ink color. Okay, this is the answer that we have got, right? So now what we have to do, let's get on to the second part of the question. Yep. Okay, look at the question, guys, over here. So what is that we need to calculate here? Discuss how just-in-time purchasing and just-in-time production will remove the cost of gap calculated in one above. Show calculations in support of your answer. Okay, now see here. Which means now he is talking about just-in-time system, correct? Right? Okay. Is it something new for us? We have already learned the concept, so it is nothing new. So you already know the concept of JAT. Write something around 5 lines. Are you able to understand? All right, all those things. JAT is based on pull system. Okay, pull system. Try to explain what is pull system. You manufacture only based on the demand and all that. So already I gave you all that content in your power notes when we were going through the JAT concept. From there, you have to just copy paste. You write both the things, JAT production as well as JAT purchasing. See, JAT production means you can write the sentence in between multiple divisions or multiple departments. Okay, the previous division will manufacture only when it gets requirement need from the next division. Are you able to understand? So that is what we call it as just in time production, which means I've already drawn a diagram and then I explained you all those things, right? So this is one division, this is another division, this is first division, this is second, this is third, say for example. Now when the third division gives a requirement to second division, only then second division will start manufacturing and then it will send to the third division, which means there will be no question of WIP stock getting piled up between both the divisions, correct? That is what we call it as just in time production. Just in time you are producing, just in time my next division needs, only then I'll be producing. Are you able to understand? Same logic applies to one and between one and two as well. So when two requires, only then one will manufacture and it will send to what? Two. Anyway, we have seen all these things. It is nothing new. Just in time purchasing means you will try to purchase your raw material in such a way that the receipt of raw materials, the timing of receipt of raw materials exactly coincides with the requirement of raw materials. Now, we have seen all these things already. So I'm just trying to brush it up. Okay. So whatever the concepts that we know that we have already learned, write it over here. So that's what I've written. Remember concept that I told you earlier. So you just need to copy paste. Apart from that, one more thing that you have to recollect is we have already done a sum in the study material where once after learning the entire JAT concept, you'll be feeling that everything that you see is only positives in JAT. So you might be feeling that JAT is full of positives. Then why should we go for traditional manufacturing? Traditional manufacturing is all of nonsense like that. At that time only, I told you that don't think that way. So traditional manufacturing has got pluses and minuses. When I say traditional manufacturing, I'm talking about inventory-based manufacturing. Are you able to understand? Where you'll produce according to your own requirement, according to your plan, irrespective of how much sales is happening. That's what we call traditional manufacturing plan or traditional production plan, where it is based on inventory. Inventory will act as a buffer between variations in sales every single day. You understand the point? Anyway, so at that time only I told you that Nana, traditional manufacturing means you cannot say it is altogether bad. JT manufacturing means you cannot say it's altogether good, fantastic. It's not like that. In both the cases, you have pluses and minus. Under traditional manufacturing, you got a plus as well as minus. And a JAT also, you've got a plus as well as minus. What is that, sir? That's what I've told you. Try to recollect. When it comes to traditional manufacturing, the positive point is that there is no need of overtime. Why? Because your stock will act as a buffer. There is no need for you to work beyond your capacity overtime and then manufacture the goods, because if at all you have a sales which is greater than your production capacity, the inventory already that is manufactured by you either the last month or previous month will come as a savior, and it will save you without asking you to go for overtime work. Are you able to understand? Just example is in this question only. See the question over here. Where is it? Yeah. Yeah. See here. What is the production here? Constant 12,500, 12,500, 12,500, 12,500. Whereas look at your sales 7,500. 9,000. Here you have got bit of an inventory, correct? You see the closing stock over here, 8,500. Here, even though your production is only 12,500 in quarter three, your sales was how much? 15,500, which means normally you have to go for overtime. Yes, or what? Because your capacity, I mean, how much you're manufacturing right now? 12,500 only. But of course, even though the capacity is 15,000, that's another game. But still, it's overriding your capacity. In that case, who has come as your savior? The stock. Which stock? The closing stock. Here you see 12,500 is what you're normally manufacturing, whereas your sales is really high beyond your capacity. Even then, you were going, you were saved by the stock, and thereby there is no need for you to go for what? Overtime. So that's the whole logic over here, right? Anyway, chal. So there will be no overtime, but the negative aspect will be you have to hold your stock, therefore you'll be incurring inventory holding cost. And that's what we have seen here as well, right? As you can see, inventory holding cost kitna hai? 45,000 here, 1,21,500 here, 1,26,000 here, 49,500 here, and total it is 3,42,000. So this is the negative point of traditional manufacturing. Got the point? This is the negative point of traditional manufacturing. Okay, right. So you have pluses as well as minus. So the plus point is no overtime. Minus point is, of course, you need to hold inventory, and that will make you incur inventory holding cost. Anyway, now coming on to JAT, what is the plus point? No stocks. Therefore, there is no need of inventory holding cost. Why? What is the concept behind JAT? As and when required, you'll produce, which means this month or this quarter, in this case, this quarter my sales is so much, 5,000. Then you'll manufacture 5,000. Next quarter, my sales is 10,000. Then you'll manufacture 10,000. Next quarter, my sales is 17,000. Then you'll manufacture 17,000. Even though it is beyond your production capacity, what you will do, you'll ask your workers to work overtime, pay them a little bit more, that is overtime premium, and then you will ask them to work. Eventually, you'll be satisfying your sales, which means you'll be incurring overtime premium cost over here, which is up and above your normal cost, which you're incurring only because of JAT. That's negative point only. So that overtime cost is negative point. So in traditional manufacturing, there is something called inventory holding cost, which is negative point, but there is no overtime, which is positive point. When it comes to JAT, there is no inventory holding cost, which is positive point, but there is overtime, which is a negative point. So there is nothing like this is altogether good and this is altogether bad. Both has got pluses as well as minuses. You understand the point? That is the reason by considering both plus as well as minus, we need to calculate total cost associated with the production plan, both as per traditional as well as JAT, and then finally we'll try to advise which one is better. Got it? Okay. Now that we have already done it as per traditional, that is inventory based production plan, now we need to repeat the same as per JAT. What is the only difference? Like this, you will calculate the first step. Let me erase this first. Yeah. Okay, same thing you'll be calculating, but how the columns will change, just try to imagine. First of all, stock won't be there, correct? So opening stock to gaya. Next, you'll not be having closing stock also. Average stock also will not be there. Nothing will be there. So what will be there is first row will be sales. You can ask me, why sales as the first row, sir? First row. Because based on sales only, you need to produce. That is the concept of JAT. Therefore, your first row will be sales. Arey, yeah, why it is not getting erased? Come on, buddy. You can do it. Yeah, fantastic. Okay. Right, guys. Now see here. So just try to imagine. Okay, already we have seen this kind of model here. We have solved it. So it is nothing new altogether. So first row will be sales. How much sales? For example, sales in the first quarter is 7,500, which means I will also produce 7,500. Game over. So no need of any overtime. So no overtime charges. Game over. Quarter number two, 9,000 is the sales. So production also will be 9,000. Quarter number three, 15,500 will be the sales. So production also will be 15,500. How much is the normal capacity? How much is the overtime? Then we need to work it out. Like that, this is the first step we need to work it out. And then coming on to the second step, what you'll write total cost per toy as per JAT production plan. Everything is going to be same. Direct material will be same, direct labor will be same, variable overheads will be same, fixed overheads also will be same. Then what is the difference, sir? In the place of inventory holding cost, you'll be getting something called overtime premium cost. Except that one single change, everything else here is going to be exactly the same, and we're going to repeat all the steps. Are you able to understand? So now it seems rather quite a bit simple, right? Okay, anyway, chalo. Let's go on doing it now. So which means now first what we have to calculate? The overtime. how many units are we going to manufacture in overtime and how much is going to be our overtime cost. As usual, I want you guys to look at the question and then we'll move on. Okay, chalo. Heading will be production plan under JIT system. Production plan under JIT system, that is JIT. Okay, as usual, the first column will be particulars, quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready, guys? As I told you, first we'll be starting with sales. Then I'll be comparing that with the production that you need to make, and accordingly we'll move on. Right, chalo, ready? So what is the sales in quarter 1? Look at your question. Sales is 7,500. Okay, which means you will also produce 7,500. Got it? Do I need to incur any overtime cost here? No. First quarter is done. Second quarter, look at your question. Your sales is 9,000. Your production also will be 9,000. Do I need of any overtime cost? Nope. Next, look at your question. Quarter 3. So what is the sales? आपका sales है 15,500, right? 15,500. You have to produce 15,500. But the problem is your normal capacity. Here I'll write normal capacity 15,000. 15,000. 15,000. Normal capacity is 15,000, which means you have overtime cost. Yes. For how many units? 500 units. For extra 500 units, you need to incur your overtime, right? Next, moving on to the last one, the sales is 18,000. You need to produce 18,000. Capacity is 15,000. So 3,000 units, you need to work it for overtime. That's it, right? Chalo, that's it. So this is your production plan. So over time, you need to work it out only in quarter 3 and quarter 4, and that too for 500 units over here and 3,000 units over here. Accordingly, we'll be taking the cost. Anyway, chalo. You guys ready? Okay, now. So once you're done with this, same. Look at your heading. Total cost per toy as per JAT production plan. Right, Nana, same stuff. Particulars 1, 2, 3, 4. Total if you want. Yep. As usual, again, everything is direct material per unit. Okay, look at your question. Did we calculate direct material per unit first of all? You can see your question. Yeah. Here it is 80. Okay. Now there are two ways of picking up the number over here. One is in traditional, we went with 80. We know how we have calculated 80 because of that 5% substandard. Now listen careful, this is very important point. In JAT also we can go for 80. Same cost. Got it? However, if you are smart enough and if you have really digested the concept of JIT with you, if you have really digested the concept of JIT with you, this 80 answer is wrong. Now, according to me, it is wrong. Although your ICA says 80 is also correct answer, but the answer as per your ICA is 76. I don't think I need to explain you much. You know how 76 has come, correct? Where is the working note? Here it is. This is 76. Without considering that 5% substandard, quality of the material. So 76 should be the answer as per JIT. Your ICA has taken 76 as the answer. However, they've also mentioned that even 80 is also correct. That assumption is also fair enough. But if I were to give a certain solution for the same, I would rather say 80 is wrong. How is that possible? Try to recollect the all concepts that I've told you when it comes to JAT. I've explained you, if you could remember, transactions inside a JAT system. You remember that? So there I told you what are all the changes that will happen if at all you want to implement JAT. Indirectly, if you want to implement pull system, because JAT is based on pull system, correct? And one important thing is one of the prerequisites of JAT is TQM, which means unless you have implemented TQM, you cannot implement JIT, which means already the quality has increased a lot, hell lot. Second, in JIT, because supplier is the main important person, and because you start manufacturing only after receiving the order from the customer, therefore you cannot do any sort of error. There is no space for defectives, whether it is finished goods or WIP or even raw material. Therefore, what you do in JIT is you send your engineers to the raw material guy's place, that is supplier's place, and then you ask your engineers to check the way they are manufacturing the raw materials that you are going to eventually buy from them, and you're going to help them to increase their quality. All these things will happen only under JIT, whereas under traditional it's not going to happen. So therefore, when it comes to traditional, probably the kind of raw materials that you receive might be substandard to some extent, but when it comes to JIT, because you're taking all these additional measures, like you're sending your guy, you're talking to your supplier, he's the core guy. I mean, he's the important guy when it comes to JIT, and because you're manufacturing after getting sales order from the customer, you don't have time, or you don't have that luxury of time where, if at all the raw materials becomes a little bit substandard, you have a time to rectify it and then move forward. It's not going to happen. Therefore, the raw material quality must be top notch. Under your traditional manufacturing system, generally what happens is that you get your raw material from the supplier and then it goes into the inspection department. The inspection department does the checks and everything, and whatever that is substandard will be kept aside, and remaining raw materials will be sent to the production department. Or sometimes they'll just send it through, and production department, when it is manufacturing, it will find out that the some portion of raw material quality is not that good, and as a result I need to use a little bit more raw material, which we have seen in this case, and therefore instead of 76 it becomes 80. But having said all the explanation going through, I can say that definitely once you implement JIT, and because of the better in relationship between you and the supplier, things will change a lot, and thereby the substandard raw material thing will be solved by default. The probability of 76 happening is very high rather than the probability of 80. So that is what I can say. Got the point? So therefore, although both the answers are recommended or accepted by ICA, I would rather ask you to go with 76. In fact, your ICA also went with 76 only. But they said that 80 is also fine. It's your choice ultimately. I have my own logical reasoning behind why you should go for 76. So in that case, it's going to be 76, 76, 76, and 76. Last one anyway you can do, it is 76 into 50,000. Okay. 76 into 50,000. So I think 38 lakhs. Right. After direct material, what else you have got? Direct labor per unit. I think this we have calculated already. 48. There will be no change over here. Again, same stuff. 48 into 50,000 units. 24 lakhs. After direct labor, we have variable rates per unit. Look at your question, how much it is. 22, 22 for first two quarters. Third quarter and fourth quarter, it's 24 and 25. This we have already calculated here. Can we take this? Where is that? Where did I calculate? Yeah. Can I take this 11 lakh 62,500? Can I? Nope. This is with respect to being, manufacturing 12,500 for every single quarter. Are you able to understand? This is as per existing production plan based on inventory model. You understand the point? So because you are manufacturing 12,500 every quarter, it works over there. Can I take the same 12,500 now here under JIT? No, it's not the case. In JIT, you are manufacturing different. Are you able to understand? Therefore, your variable overhead cost is going to be same. So if you do this mistake, you are doomed. Understand the point? Then what's going to be the cost? Let's do that here. Here itself, working note, variable overheads. Quarter 1, quarter 2, 3, 4. First, I'll start with production as per JIT. Just now we have calculated 7,500, 9,000, 15,500, 18,000, right? Into how much is your variable rates? First quarter 22, second quarter 22 as well, 24, 25. So in that case, it's gonna be 7,500 into 22, 1,65,000, 9,000 into 22, 1,98,000, 15,500 into 24, 3,72,000, 18,000 into 25, 4,50,000. Total 1,65,000 plus 1,98,000 plus 3,72,000 plus 4,50,000. So 11,85,000. Got it? That will be the number over here. Be careful with all these things, Nana. These are all the areas where we tend to do mistakes. Anyway, now as usual, we need to calculate total variable cost per unit. Right, total variable cost per unit. Anyway, I have to number it, right? I forgot that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Total variable cost, it is 76 plus 48 plus 22. 146. Same here. So 146. 76, 48, 24. 2 rupees extra. So 148. 3 is extra. 149. Correct? Okay, now multiply with units. Units of production. Kitna re? 7,500 for the first quarter. I put 75,000. Sorry guys, 7,500. Second quarter, 9,000. Third quarter, 15,500. 18,000. Okay, now, so total variable cost, which is nothing but 6 is equal to variable cost per unit 4 into units of production 5. So 146 into 7,500. 10,95,000. 146 into 9,000. 13,14,000. 148 into 15,500. 22,94,000. 149 into 18,000. 26,82,000. So total variable cost, my goodness, I need to calculate again. 10,95,000. You can say that I can use M plus and all that, but if I calculate this way, I'll double ensure that the numbers are correct, because these are all kind of virtual classes. So normally in class means students will be there. So if at all we do any mistake, it will be identified, because it's human to err, especially in terms of calcs and all these things. But here I don't have that luxury, therefore I always check double the times. 73,85,000. Got it, guys? I hope you can excuse me for that. Right, so 73,85,000, whatever. Then after that, under existing production plan, we had inventory cost, average inventory cost, whereas here we're gonna go for overtime cost. You got it? Now coming on to overtime cost, as you can see, there is nothing for the first two quarters, and third and fourth quarters it's gonna be 500 and 3,000. Let's write that over here. 500, 3,000 units only. Okay, overtime units, or you can also call it as overtime production. Either way it works. Okay, then what else we have? You said that, look at there, you're gonna pay 50% more, right? For overtime, guys, you're gonna pay 50% more. So which means eighth, overtime premium. Overtime premium cost only, na? See, normal labor charges is not that matters over here. It's anyway you have to pay, whether it is traditional manufacturing or JIT. The premium is what is the additional cost due to JIT. Okay, so how much is the premium? So 8 is equal to your overtime production. Upon that only your premium will be incurred. Premium will be incurred only on overtime production, because overtime production is that production which you are doing in overtime, right? So 7 is overtime production into only the labor cost, right? Labor cost is 0.40 per hour. Sorry, 0.40 hours. Sorry. 0.40 hours into 120 per hour. That is the normal rate. But you'll not be paying entire 120. You'll be paying only 50%. 50% is the overtime premium, right? Normal 100% anyway you're gonna pay. The 50% is the additional cost that you're gonna pay. You got the point? So which means 500 units into per unit it will take zero point 0.4 hours will give you 200 hours. For 200 hours the normal rate is 100. Anyway I have to pay 100, but now sorry 120 is the normal rate, but I'm going to pay now 180, so I need to consider that 60 rupees extra, which is 120 into 50%. So 200 into that 60 rupees is overtime premium. It comes around 12,000. Got the point? Same logic applies here also. So you have 3000 units into per unit, it will take zero point 0.4 hours, which means 1200 hours of overtime hours. 1200 hours into 180 is what you pay. In that 180, 100 is normal. So take that 100 away. The additional that you are paying is 60, which is 50% extra. So that 72,000 only will be your overtime premium. Got the point? Anyway, anything else? So the total will be 84,000. I hope I'm done with it. Last one is fixed overheads. In the question only it is there, na? Just copy paste. Kitna re? 6 lakh 25 first quarter, 6 lakh 25 second quarter, 6 lakh 25 third quarter, 6 lakh 25 fourth quarter, right? Total 25 lakhs. ये तो हुआ, बहुत सिंपल सा है. उसके बाद anything else? That's it. Now we need to calculate total cost. So total cost column 10 is equal to, you have variable cost which is column 6, overtime premium cost, sorry not column, row, sorry for that, 8 plus fixed overheads 9. So how much it comes? Total variable cost 10 lakh 95,000 plus there is no overtime premium plus fixed cost 6 lakh 25,000, comes around 17 lakh 20,000 for first quarter. Second quarter 13 lakh 14,000 plus no overtime premiums, 6 lakh 25,000 is the fixed cost, 19 lakh 39,000. Okay. Next third quarter 22 lakh 94,000 plus overtime is 12,000 plus 6 lakh 25,000. It comes around 29 lakh 31,000. Last quarter 26 lakh 82,000 is the variable cost plus 72,000 is overtime premium plus 6 lakh 25,000. 33 lakh 79,000. So your total cost will be 17 lakh 20,000 plus 19 lakh 39,000 plus 29 lakh 31,000 plus 33 lakh 79,000. 99 lakh 69,000. So in that case, I need per unit cost only, na? So total cost per toy is equal to 99 lakh 69,000 divided by 50,000 toys. That implies 99 lakh 69,000 divided by 50,000 toys. 199.38. Cost has got reduced a lot. Got it? That's it. Okay. We're done with the calculation. So let's continue. Now see here, guys. These are all the calculation. I've already done it in the Power Notes. Anyway, so this is the important assumption. It has been assumed that carefully selected suppliers of delivering high quality materials in a timely manner directly at the shop floor, reducing the material receipt time and loss due to substandard. Are you able to understand? So that's why I've written, remember JAT concept. This is absolutely valid assumption. That's why I said 76 is what we will go for and not 80. So alternate substandard material assumption is also available, that is allowed by ICA. Although it is allowed by ICA, which means in case if you take 80 knowingly or unknowingly, you are lucky because that answer is also provided. But I will not at all recommend because that's not the right valid assumption. The probability of 76 possibility is very high. So although I cannot say 100% that is right, but what I'm trying to say is you just need to go with high probable ones. So knowing the concept of JAT, which I've already taught you, having an idea regarding the same, 76 is a better valid assumption. So you go with 76 only. So that in another problem where I say it doesn't allow you these kind of multiple answers, you will be doing a mistake again. If at all you do the same over here. That's why you try to go for something that is right. Just because I say allowed something, we should not go for it. We should go for it which is right. Okay. So the right is 76. Luckily I say also recognizes the answer as 76. So therefore no problem for us. Got it? I hope I'm very clear. So what is the cost gap? As per JET, it is 199.38. As per target cost, it is 204. Already there is a savings of 4.62. So target cost is well achieved. Your target cost has to be 204, but as per your traditional manufacturing, it's high. In fact, yeah, where is it? Yeah, it's a 208. So you are well above the target cost. So you did not achieve your target cost. Whereas as per your JET, you were well below your target cost. In fact, there is a savings of 4 rupees 62 paise. So happily you can say that if at all you implement JET, automatically target cost will be achieved. So that's the beauty of JET. Now, that's the reason JET comes under all this lean system and innovation. Why? Because you try to eliminate your waste, thereby increasing the efficiency and thereby reducing the cost. And therefore we have achieved it. As you can see, under traditional it was around 209, whereas under JET, automatically your target cost is achieved, and well, we have a buffer of 4 rupees 62 paise as well. Got the point? So that's the beauty. Anyway, so why did this happen? Because there is savings due to zero inventory holding cost, isn't it? When it comes to JET, there is no inventory, yeah. So you need not hold your inventory, therefore zero inventory holding cost, zero substandard material cost as well, because of our assumption. I told you, understanding JET, by understanding JET, 76 is valid assumption. Anyway, I made you all the explanations. So because of that is another reason why the cost has got reduced. So this is savings in cost, these two. There are increase in cost also. Overtime premium is an increase in cost. Additional overheads also will generally be incurred. Okay. But in this question, of course, the savings of zero inventory holding cost and zero substandard material cost is overriding the increase in cost due to overtime premium, and therefore savings is greater than increase. And as a result, you have ultimately saved. In fact, saved in the sense you were well below the target cost. So you have a buffer of 4 rupees 62 paise. So based on this, obviously the advice will be go for JET. But I told you many a times that we cannot write the answer that way when it comes to new syllabus. You need to write, okay, since there is a savings of so much, JIT is preferable when compared to traditional inventory-based production plan. However, before implementing JIT, the following things, non-financial parameters, non-financial factors must be taken into consideration. We'll write few points about JIT. What are the problems? Predominantly, it will be the prerequisites of JIT. I've told you the same logic behind so many other sums as well when I was explaining. Anyway, so that we are going to see now. Anyway, look at the second part of the question. Explain how implementation of JIT production method can be a major source of competitive advantage and success for the company. Let's try to answer that. Okay. We know this JIT aims at what? What is the ultimate aim of JIT? Meeting customer demand in a timely manner, providing high quality products, providing products at lowest possible price. Now, don't look at me, don't give a look saying that this is something that you're seeing for the first time. The Mokko fellows, you already know this. I've taught you, right? Mokko means innocent, don't worry about that. Anyway, now the point is, meeting customer demand in a timely manner is one of the aim of JAT. High quality products obviously aim of JAT because TQM is a prerequisite of JAT. Providing products at lowest possible price is also the aim of JAT. Why? Because that's what is happening here now, lowest possible price. Because your cost has got reduced, eventually you'll be able to sell at lesser price as well. So to achieve the target cost, you have implemented JAT in this particular situation, correct? Fantastic. Now, he has also asked you main features of JAT. So what do you mean by that? Material handling cost is reduced, multi-skill labor, minimizing defects, rework and scrap, reduce setup time, also reduces lead time for receiving materials. You got to explain each of these subheadings further. Don't you know this? I have explained you in the chapter. Features of JAT, we have seen the concept, nothing new. I have explained you each and every subheading. Material handling cost, why it will be reduced. Are you handle lesser number of materials here because you purchase materials more number of times now when it comes to JAT when compared to your traditional system. No need of holding any inventory. Therefore, material handling cost obviously will be reduced. So that you explain in 2 to 3 sentences. What is there? You know the concept, right? That is the power of power notes, Nana. See, the notes is very short, but I know the concept. The moment I remember material handling cost will be reduced, the moment I implement it, I know what I have to write in 3 lines. Multi-skilled labor means I know, okay, fine. When it comes to traditional manufacturing, see, I put the heading, subheading, multi-skilled labor. Below that, what I'll write? When it comes to traditional manufacturing, one particular labor will be working under one machine, and that too for one particular process. Therefore, he gets monotonous. He will be doing only the working job. He will not be maintaining anything. He will not be doing the maintenance work simultaneously. Therefore, he gets monotonous and he doesn't have much of a knowledge. Whereas when it comes to JIT, because you have to operate multitude of machines in the sense multiple machines at the same time, it is not just operating the machines, but also he has the responsibility of maintaining the machines, also have the responsibility of doing small repairs. And unless it is a big repair, then only you need to call the repair and maintenance team. So this all the concepts you have learned, right? Write it under multi-skill labor, game over, right? So only the essence have to be present. Sentence by sentence, it need not tally, and it's very difficult to tally that way. Write the essence. Essence is similar, it's done. Keywords are there, you'll get the marks. Minimizing defects, rework, and scrap. Why? On one side, you are going to talk with the supplier, and the supplier is going to give you quality raw material. Automatically, quality raw material from the supplier will reduce your defects. And because you have implemented TQM already, by the time you come to JIT, that will also reduce further defects. So you can just write those sentence. Reduce setup time. You can write 5 to 6 sentence over here. I've already explained you. Remember that? How to reduce the setup time. First, they went for long production run. Long production run means more number of units per production run, thereby reducing the number of production runs, thereby reducing the number of setups, thereby reducing the setup overhead cost. But that started giving some sidekicks, means negatives. Are you able to understand? One was too many units you are manufacturing, therefore too many defects, and it was taking too much of time, and therefore there's a risk of obsolescence of the products. Three, suddenly if you get sudden orders, you'll not be able to satisfy them, and moreover you're taking a lot of time for manufacturing because the production run is very long, which means you're manufacturing more number of units per production run. For that, the solution was, yeah, videotapes. You remember that? So videotapes was the solution, and because of videotapes, we try to reduce the setup time per setup, thereby reducing the setup cost without affecting the production run. So keeping the production runs short, still you'll be able to reduce your setup time. All these things we have already covered, that you can write under this subheading. That's the reason I've put these subheadings here. Even when you're reading, also read these subheadings. You need not read the stuff because you should remember it naturally. I explained you the concepts, right? Now a few students, they were worrying, that we need to buy hard, these things, buy hard the subheadings and all that. I don't know how stupid a question can be. When something has been explained, where is the question, where is the need for you to buy hard? First of all, can't you remember the concepts? The moment you see material handling cost is reduced, can't you remember the concept? The moment you see multi-skilled labor, can't you remember the concept? The moment you see minimizing defects, rework, and scrap, can't you remember the concept? Where's the question of by hearting this? My intention of the entire teaching process of SNP is not to make you by heart. Despite that, if you are by hearting, then only God will save you. Got the point? Anyway, so you can explain each of these subheadings later. And with this particular case study and problem is done. Right, fantastic. Chalo. Now guys can copy from here. From here, you got to copy. Copy nano. I'll give you 5 minutes of time. Copy it and finish it off. Done with copying this one, Anna. Next, copy this. Done with copying, guys. Next. Copied, guys. Next. Copy, Nana. Next. Done, guys. Next. Done. Next. Done, Nana. Chalo, next. This is the last one. Finish it off. We'll be done with this particular sum and we'll wind up the session. Right, guys, chalo. Let's wind up this particular session. Thank you.